World Food India 2025, From Waste to Wealth, Transforming South Asia's Food Systems for the Future. My name is Bramala Nathan, and I am a Senior Agriculture Specialist and Coordinator of Sapling at the World Bank, and I will be your host for today's program. I'm pleased to welcome our honorable guest today, Minister Samarasinghe from Sri Lanka's Sri Lanka's Cabinet Minister of Trade, Commerce, Food Security, and Cooperative Development. The Honorable Dr. Mariam Maria, Cabinet Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare from the Government of Maldives. Mrs. Archana Vyas, Global Director, Policy and Communications at the Gates Foundation, and Mr. Paul Prosy, Acting Country Director for India at the World Bank. Okay. And we will be joined shortly by Mr. A.P. Das Joshi, Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. So, Honorable Minister Vasantha Samarasinghe, Minister of Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development, Government of Sri Lanka, Dr. Mariam Maria, Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare, and our distinguished guests, partners, and friends. Good afternoon. It's an honor to welcome you to this special session on Waste to Wealth, brought to you by Sapling, in collaboration with the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. Today, I'm proud to introduce Sapling, the South Asian Policy Leadership for Improved Nutrition and Growth. Convened by the World Bank with support from the Gates Foundation, Sapling is transforming food systems into engines of inclusive development, climate resilience, and economic opportunity. Since its launch in 2019, Sapling has united governments, innovators, and communities across South Asian countries to co-create climate-smart, nutrition-sensitive solutions. Guided by innovation, integration, and inclusion, Sapling drives policy, technology, and collaboration. Sapling is grounded in the realities of farmers and food workers, ensuring that solutions are not just technically sound, but socially and economically viable. By linking community knowledge and global expertise, we help create models that are both scalable and sustainable. Why does food loss and waste matter? In South Asia, over 30% of food is lost annually, while 40% of the workforce works in agriculture. This gap threatens food security and farmer livelihoods. Sapling sees food loss and waste as an opportunity for green jobs, better nutrition, and resilience. In Sri Lanka, our Beyond Waste dialogue has prompted the government to initiate a multi-stakeholder consultation to develop a national strategy for food loss and waste reduction to be endorsed by the President. Across the region, Sapling has showcased around 15 youth-led enterprises in post-harvest innovation and agri-tech. We've helped shape food systems strategies in Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, and India, connecting innovators and policymakers and investors to drive inclusive growth. Sapling is more than a platform. It's a catalyst. By supporting agribusiness entrepreneurship, we unlock jobs and income for youth, women, and marginalized communities. Through regional exchanges, we scale what works. And by mobilizing investment, we turn ideas into impact. Looking ahead, Sapling is evolving into a regional accelerator for innovation, scaling startups that reduce waste and improve nutrition, for policy integration, aligning food and trade policies across borders, and inclusion, empowering youth, women, and marginalized groups to lead agribusinesses. We know the challenge is immense, but so is the opportunity. South Asia is poised to lead the world in demonstrating how reducing food loss and waste can drive growth, equity, and climate resilience at the same time. We envision a South Asia where prosperity is shared, from South Asia's mountains to its coastlines, from its river delta basins to vast expanse of deserts. Let's move beyond waste. Let's build a future where every grain counts, every voice matters, and every country shares in the progress. Thank you. I look forward to the powerful ideas and exciting partnerships emerging today. Thank you. As we kick off today's special session, I encourage everyone to join the conversation online and live tweet your insights, favorite moments, and key takeaways. Sharing your perspectives in real time helps amplify the impact of our discussions and connects our work to a broader audience across South Asia and beyond. Don't forget to use our official hashtags, hashtag WFI2025, hashtag sapling, and hashtag beyond waste. Let's make this dialogue visible and inspire action together. Let's work together to go beyond words. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Honorable Minister Samarasinha, to talk to us today about Sri Lanka. The minister has been a tireless advocate for grassroots development, rural economic empowerment, and social justice. Minister, the floor is yours.
Distinguished guests, partners from South Asia, leaders of the industry, and fellow Sri Lankans, all participants. Ayubowan, Vanakkam, Namaste. We meet at a deepening moment. Our food system faces persistent challenges, particularly inefficiency, losses, and waste, but also offer immense opportunity for the transformation and inclusive growth. In Sri Lanka, up to 40% of harvest are lost before reaching consumer across South Asia. More than 30% of food is wasted in courage of feed nearly 300 million people. Reducing the loss is not simply a technical matter. It is an investment in nutrition, resilience, and sustainable growth, fully aligned with SDG 12.3. Sri Lanka has taken important steps throughout the SLAPLIN regional policy dialogues. We convened 175 stakeholders from 10 countries within support from the World Bank, the Gates Foundation, and Food System 2030. This platform strengthens policy innovations, collaborations, and regional solidarity. We are committed to advancing SAFLIN as a driver of food and nutrition security. Our leadership has set a clear directions. The President has called for a urgent action to reduce post-harvest losses, and the Prime Minister has urged to go beyond waste and reimagine food system as engine of growth and inclusions. The World Bank has been steadfast partner in this journey. From the meanwhile development project to today, modernization and climate, smart agriculture initiatives. These effort have created model of innovations and farmer empowerment. And we warmly welcome our partners to witness this success in Sri Lanka. Building on this, we have launched an integrated urban development project, bridging rural and urban economic, strengthening value chain, leverage digital solution and reducing losses across in the supply chain. Our focusing is job for youth, opportunities for women and future where no economy is left behind. As a Minister of Trade, I am committed to transparency and accountability. We are strengthening monitoring systems, pursuing ambitious expert targets, and attracting foreign direct investments. Regional integrations remarking key by sharing best practices and building resilient supply chain. We can unlock new market and strengthen in South Asia position in the global economy. We are also moving beyond primary product into value-added agribusiness processing, logistic, marketing, and digital innovation by investing in the technology and fostering partnership. We ensure our youth and cooperative clean-led by building a circle inclusive economy. Our priorities are clear. Create a job for youth through agri-food innovations. Ensure food security for all with attention on the vulnerability. Empower communities and cooperative to reduce waste. Scale solution with the World Bank and regional partners. Build resilience against climate changes and emerging risks. Foster transparency, accountabilities, and inclusive growth. Excellencies, friends, let us seize this moment. Let us turn waste into wealth, challenges into opportunities. Together we can build a resilient circles and nutrition future for Sri Lanka and South Asia, where no harvest is wasted, no youth is left behind, and every citizen benefits. Thank you. Thank you very much for the given opportunity. And please give the permission to leave the room because my flight is 6:40. I have to leave early. That's why it's give me the first opportunity to address you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Success events. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Minister Samarasinghe, for your inspiring inaugural address and for sharing Sri Lanka's vision for food security, rural empowerment, and regional collaboration. We deeply appreciate your intervention and your leadership in championing these critical issues. So we understand that the minister has to leave for other pressing commitments in Sri Lanka, and will have to leave early. So on behalf of everyone here, I want to extend our sincere gratitude for making the time to join us today and for endorsing the government of Sri Lanka's commitment to continuous engagement with Sapling. Through Sapling. Your presence and support are invaluable as we work together to transform South Asia's food systems. So before the minister departs, I'd like to invite our distinguished panelists to take a photograph, if we may. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so, thank you. Thank you. So we will resume with our program as scheduled. Let's see. And it's now my pleasure to invite Mr. Paul Prosy, Acting Country Director for India at the World Bank, to deliver opening remarks. Paul, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and a great pleasure to be here, actually. I always like to be among people from farms. I grew up in a small town in Brazil, and always surrounded by farmers, and I've seen a lot of the green revolution around there, and it's always nice to be here. But distinguished ministers, secretary, guests, it's a great honor to be here on behalf of the World Bank to inaugurate this special session of the World Food India program. Also special thank you to the Ministry of Food Processing Industry for all the work that they're doing and for hosting us here. They've been pivotal in all of our engagement here, and hopefully we'll continue our work together. Today we're also surrounded by leaders, and very happy to see also other representations from other countries here, also from our esteemed colleagues from the World Bank from Vietnam. Thank you for coming and for bringing some of the, let's say, lessons from India and from this discussion to your country. This is an event, and you were mentioning it already, for an open dialogue. So I hope this will be not only a one-way discussion, that we really hear from you, and also online I hear that people can bring in their, let's say, their inputs into this program. It's amazing what South Asia has gone through over the last 40, 50 years, and the World Bank has been part of it in terms of increasing productivity, increasing agricultural production, and all the efforts around the Green Revolution and now around nutrition and sustainability. And at the same time, you know, let's say this has become a powerhouse in staples, dairy, fruits, and what is very interesting, thanks to a lot of the smallholders that we have. At the same time, you mentioned the number, it's always amazing to me that 30% of the produce is lost until the fork. And I don't even want to talk about what happens beyond the fork, because I also work on a lot of waste, and we know what happens there as well. There's a lot of food waste there as well. So the numbers are probably much higher, but you can just imagine the impact it has. At the same time, South Asia and West Asia reported world's highest rates of moderate or severe food insecurity, 38%, super high. While South Asia made progress, reducing the rate by almost 2 percentage points over the last year, there are still 227 million people here that remain undernourished. I want to just think about these numbers, because these numbers are impactful. More than half of our population, 1 billion people, cannot access a healthy diet. Nearly 1 in 2 women, 50% of women of reproductive age, suffers from anemia. And over 30%, 1 in every 3 children, so every time you see a third child, you know that one is basically stunned. So this remarks us about, again, how important this topic is for all of us. You know, let's say it is immense pressures that we have on our food systems. Then we have climate change, we have resource constraints, we have growing urbanization, and all of this pressure will continue. And at the same time, and this is why we are here, there are humongous opportunities. Opportunities to tackle loss in food and waste. We can also feed millions more. We can create, uplift farmers' incomes, and foster a healthier and more prosperous future. The bank is now working on a very ambitious program. We are in over 90 countries around the world, and what we are aiming for by 2030, 5 years from now, to secure food and nutrition to almost 330 million people. So there's an ambition. We are setting goals that we want to get to. And we believe that food processing, and this is part of our program, is not about agriculture production, it's really about rural transformation, that food processing will have a very important role to play by extending shelf life, storing surpluses, adding value. Food processing strengthens availability, access and utilization, linking farmers and consumers more efficiently and sustainably. I would like to commend again the Government of India and the Ministry of Food Processing Industries for their leadership in advancing food processing infrastructure, agro-processing clusters, and also modern food parks. All of these initiatives not only create jobs, they also create economic growth in rural economies, and they build bridges, along the whole food value chain. And also for Sapling, it's great to be a partner of Sapling. You're playing a pivotal role. We at the World Bank are putting a lot of emphasis in partnerships. We cannot do this alone. We are a smaller and smaller bank, despite the name that we have in the world. Financing we provide, but it's a very small part. We need to work with everyone, and Sapling has been an important partner in this work on something that we really believe in. If we can really reduce food losses and really build, let's say, the economic development of rural areas in South Asia, we can, create a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable future in rural areas and of the food systems. So as we begin, and we didn't begin, we already began. As we begin the panel, I extend my heartfelt thanks to each of you, and I really look forward to your insights and your thoughts, and then into the discussion that we'll have all together here to learn more. I'm here more to learn than to say, so thank you everyone, and good luck with the session.
Thank you, Paul, for those insightful opening remarks and for highlighting the importance of partnerships. Before we move to the next speaker, I just would like to flag that if you are interested in seeing the full program and speaker bios, please scan the QR code behind me. That will be the case for subsequent sessions as well. So to continue setting the stage for today's discussions, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. A.P. Das Joshi, Secretary of Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. Mr. Joshi has played a pivotal role in advancing food processing and policy innovation across the country. So we look forward to hearing his perspectives on how India is tackling food loss and waste and driving progress for the region. Mr. Das Joshi, the floor is yours.
So, good afternoon to all of you. Excellencies, delegates, colleagues and friends. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to WFI 2025. India recognizes that reducing food loss and waste is essential not only for ensuring food security, but also for enhancing the efficiency of our food systems, increasing farmers' incomes, and promoting sustainable development. The topic of today, from waste to wealth, transforming South Asia's food system for the future, is very, very relevant. And Mr. Paul has already raised so many concerns of the ground reality. And when we talk about South Asia, is basically the Indian continent where most of the areas are covered, and the problem in all the countries, or the issues or the concerns in all the countries are almost similar, I can say. It's a difference of a degree only. Food processing sector can play a very pivotal role in addressing the issue of waste. In India, with the concerted efforts, we could bring down the losses, but not to the desired extent. And what I feel that the low level of processing is the culprit. The figure which I have, like India processes hardly 12% of its products, whereas the similarly situated countries process around 40 to 50%. And given the fact that India is either the largest or the second largest or invariably in any agri product in first 5. And when we talk about South Asia, I think situation is grimmer because their processing level is, few countries are even lower than the India. And the food wastage is again very high. But what I feel that food processing sector's overall development can make a difference. And when we talk about 10%, 15%, 20%, it does not give us the real picture. When you see it with reference to the total production, you will be surprised to know that almost one-third countries produces less than that. So that is the scenario. So, but let us not be very pessimistic, because in last 20, 30 years, a lot of thing has been done in South Asia, and we are seeing the results. And I would like to sincerely acknowledge and appreciate the efforts taken by CEPLING, convened by World Bank, for driving these transformative changes in nutrition-focused and resilient agri-food system across South Asia. India has adopted a structured and multi-pronged national strategy to address food loss and waste, particularly in the food processing sector, which serves as a vital link between agriculture and the market. And the strategy, as we all know, varies from like reduction at source, value addition, regulatory oversight. So all these things are known to everybody. I will not go into the detail of that. The Ministry of Food Processing Industries in India, we have come out with the number of programs to provide the facility at the farm gate. Because see what happens, now we are shifting from rain-fed to irrigated. So there is some certainty about the production. But when the time is uncertain, or you have rain-fed agriculture, you don't know how much you will produce. So planning for that production, that again creates lot of stress in the farmer's mind. They don't know. In India, I can tell you with example that tomato can sell 1 rupees a kg to 50 rupees a kg. That is the range we have, and maybe true for all the South Asian countries. So for addressing these issues, we have taken up this cold storage and other like irrigation centers, food test laboratory, and all these interventions which are yielding the results. We have a flagship scheme called Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, where we support the infrastructure which directly can affect the farm waste. We have technology upgradation and capacity building scheme. We have promotion of MSMEs, and lot of formalization of informal sector is also contributing in reducing the farm losses. So what I feel that this reducing food loss and wastage is a shared responsibility. The ministry actively promotes public-private partnership, encouraging investment in cold chains, modern warehouses, and technology-driven solutions. And I must thank World Bank for inviting all of us and chartering this particular topic and making us come together and discuss, deliberate on the issue. I feel that definitely solutions are there. It's our will and our capacity to invest in the sector that will define how quickly we can come to the level of the developed countries. In conclusion, minimizing food loss and waste is central to India's vision of a resilient, sustainable, and inclusive food system. Through a combination of policy support, infrastructure development, technology adoption, and collaborative action with industry and international partners, India is committed to building a food processing sector that is efficient, value-oriented, and globally competitive. And food processing, whether it is in India or any of the country, is a very, very inclusive sector because it is labor-intensive, it adds value, it takes out uncertainty from the minds of the farmers, and there are a lot of things. A lot of women are in India. more than 50% are the women workforce in the food processing sector. So with all this, I am confident and optimist that the situation with all this investment which has happened for last decade or 2 decades will yield the result, and we will be able to address this issue. I look forward to the very engaging discussion and knowledge sharing during the session, which will further strengthen our collective efforts to address the present challenge. I look forward to learning from all of you, and once again, welcome to WFI 2025. You have a very good stay and good time here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Das Joshi, for highlighting the Government of India's commitment to advancing food systems transformation across the region. I now turn to our next speaker, Honorable Dr. Mariam Maria, Cabinet Minister of Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Welfare, Government of Maldives. Dr. Mariam, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Vanakkam, and a very good afternoon to everyone. It is a great honor to address you today at the World Food India 2025 on this very special session, From Waste to Wealth, Transforming South Asia's Food Systems for the Future. I sincerely thank the organizers for this important platform which brings us together to confront a global challenge that affects every country in different ways. Reducing food loss and waste is crucial for improving global nutrition and food security. Waste in food not only contributes to hunger and undernutrition, but also leads to a loss of vital micronutrients like vitamins and fiber. To tackle these challenges, we need to explore circular economy solutions that promote resource recovery and reduce environmental impact. Technologies such as biodigesters offer the potential to convert organic waste into renewable energy and compost, especially within resort operations in the Maldives. Embracing such models require a shift in mindset from linear consumption to systems that prioritize reuse, recovery, and sustainability. At the household levels, food should ideally be consumed, not discarded. While some organic waste like eggshells and fruit and vegetables peels are unavoidable, simple solutions such as home composting can divert it from landfills and enrich local soils. The Maldives is also encouraging sustainable environment-friendly agriculture by reducing synthetic chemical use and promoting the use of organic fertilizers. We are simultaneously seeking to reduce the food waste by sourcing perishable goods locally, thereby limiting spoilage linked to long supply chains. In the Maldives, food waste accounts for approximately 60% of all municipal solid waste. This includes a wide range of organic materials such as kitchen scraps, garden trimmings, and other biodegradable waste. The causes are diverse, ranging from poor waste management infrastructure and inefficiencies in food production, to poor handling practices, oversized portions, and unsustainable menu designs, particularly within the tourism industry. Research from our resorts reveals worrying trends. One report from the resort reported that 31% of food received was wasted, while another reported it at 14%. Distinguished delegates, climate change continues to pose an existential threat to our food systems. Intensifying weather patterns, sea level rise, and increased soil salinity are already diminishing our agricultural capacity. With 80% of our land lying less than 1 meter above sea level and over 90% of our food imported, the Maldives remains acutely exposed to both climate-induced shocks and global supply chain disruptions. The COVID-19 pandemic further revealed these structural weaknesses, underscoring the urgency of accelerating the transition toward a more resilient and self-reliant domestic food production system. The government of Maldives, under the guidance of His Excellency the President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu, is embracing innovation and policy reform to transform our food systems. We have initiated the development of an agricultural economic zone to consolidate production, foster economies of scale, and deploy climate-smart technologies such as vertical farming, hydroponics, and precision irrigation. These innovations are tailored to our unique environmental context and will enhance both efficiency and resilience. In addition, there's a pressing need to strengthen technical training opportunities for farmers, alongside fostering a deeper understanding of the important role that organic farming plays in enhancing people's livelihoods, health, and environmental sustainability. Equally important is recognizing and empowering smallholder farmers whose active participation and contributions are essential to building a resilient and inclusive food system that ensures both food security and long-term sustainability. Distinguished delegates, in line with our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals, we need to embed food loss and waste considerations into national development plans. We urge the international community to reinforce its commitment to support developing states through technology transfer, knowledge sharing, financial cooperation, and inclusive innovation. More privileged nations should bear a heightened responsibility in contributing a more equitable global food system, one that upholds the dignity and well-being of all people. Our vision is both ambitious and achievable: a self-sufficient, climate-resilient, and competitive agri-food sector that safeguards the livelihoods of our people and the prosperity of future generations. By merging traditional knowledge with modern science, by empowering women and youth, and by fostering robust international partnerships, we can turn adversity into opportunity and resilience into reality. Allow me to conclude with 4 key recommendations. Number 1, recognize food loss and waste as a cross-cutting issue requiring multi-sectoral action. Secondly, strengthen policy frameworks and economic incentives to promote waste reduction. Thirdly, standardize food waste management to enable evidence-based action. And finally, to develop regulations that support the adoption of circular economic practices. I thank the World Bank, the organizations, and everyone involved in this World Food India 2025. I hope you enjoyed all the sessions. I'm sure we are all enjoying visiting the pavilions and looking at all the creative innovations within the food sector. Thank you.
For your insightful remarks and for those very powerful recommendations. I would now like to call upon our next speaker, Ms. Archana Vyas, Global Director of Policy and Communications at the Gates Foundation. Archana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Brem. Excellency, Honorable Minister, my colleagues, Secretary Joshi, thank you so much. So I have the hard job after listening to such impressive remarks by the Minister to summarize what we heard from our distinguished guest today. So thank you, everyone, and really appreciate, and thank you, World Bank, for the partnership for the Sapling Initiative. I think it is a significant initiative that's required for South Asia. The discussions, as you heard from our leaders, and the discussions that will follow, they are significant because of you heard some staggering facts that urge for both urgency as well as opportunities that stand before us to manage food waste and loss. We heard some of the numbers. Nearly 1/3 of all food produced is lost and wasted. It's a shame that it should happen today, and when we have technology available to help solve those losses. South Asia translates to vast quantity. We heard that it translates to vast quantities of cereals, food, vegetables that are produced here, and they can reach people. The fact is that people still are undernourished in this region. At the same time, we also heard about greenhouse gas emissions. We know the climate challenges as well. The fact that even agriculture produces those emissions, and it leads to global warming effects as well. Our speakers reminded us that cutting food loss and waste is smart economics. I noted that, as well as smart climate policy. And various facets were summarized, which were highlighted, which I would summarize, which is about strengthening farmers' livelihoods, expanding food availability to households, reducing strain on land, as well as water and energy. Crucially, it advances our commitment towards SDGs, is what I heard. We heard also commitment from countries. Our minister from Sri Lanka, he spoke about, they hosted the Sapling Initiative, and he spoke about commitment towards cutting these losses. We heard from Madam Minister, where she very eloquently spoke about circularity and how important that is, reusing, redistribution, and the focus on sustainability. And various initiatives that are being taken in the country, which I noted, which is around sourcing perishable food locally, capacity building of farmers, especially very critical, small landholding farmers, many of those are women, towards reducing and cutting this loss and waste. We also heard from Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. You're hosting this entire summit. Very, very critical. You spoke about Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, a major initiative for cold chain development, agro-processing clusters, farmer-producing organizations, as well as how public investments can reduce loss, create jobs, especially for women, as well as strengthen rural economies. A little bit about the Gates Foundation, since I'm representing a foundation here, so please indulge me. The fact that the foundation, we work alongside these priorities as well. We are supporting off-farm livelihood opportunities for women, particularly in food processing and agri-value chains, and so that there is better access to skills, markets, and finance. They enable increased income as well as resilience. We are partnering to strengthen FPOs, helping them reduce post-harvest losses across storage and processing infrastructure, and connect with more markets more efficiently. We are working, we are a science-based organization. We focus on innovation, so our partners like CGIAR, as well as Indian Council of Medical Research, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Of course, we also work with Indian Council of Medical Research, and international partners like FAO and World Bank. The data-driven approach that was also spoken about, we know that informs practices across agriculture, livestock, and food systems. On behalf of the organizers, as well as on behalf of the Gates Foundation, I would extend my sincere thanks to distinguished speakers, your vision, and as well as your participation and engagement. We heard Brem talk about let's make this a commitment and let's move towards concrete action. So I think one of the initiatives definitely one of the outcomes that we're seeing out of this initiative of sapling is not only for the countries within South Asia come together, realize the opportunities, but also share best practices so as to cut food and food waste and loss, but take on practices which will lead to resilient farmer incomes, women's economic empowerment, but also climate smart growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Archana, for highlighting the Gates Foundation commitment to advancing food and nutrition security. And with that, I would like to sincerely thank our distinguished panelists. Could you please help me to give them a warm round of applause? So I invite you to return to your seats. Thank you. Oh, sorry. One moment, please. Okay, so. Me? Oh, Mr. Joshi. Oh, can we do it? You start. Oh. Center. Oh, we took one already. When the minister was there, we took it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So from the World Bank Group's perspective, today's session has reinforced the transformative impact of sapling, not only in strengthening food and nutrition security, but also in driving job creation and economic opportunity throughout the region. By fostering collaboration, innovation, and policy leadership, sapling is helping build resilient food systems that support healthier communities and more prosperous livelihoods. With these key takeaways, we now transition to our next session, Innovation Unleashed, Turning Waste to Value. I encourage everyone to stay for this very exciting next session, and it is now my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Ms. Suparna Jain, Operations Officer at the International Finance.
Real pleasure to welcome you all to session 2. Very excited for this session because as the session name Bren just spelled out happens to be Innovation Unleashed, Startups Showcase, turning waste to value, turning waste to wealth, and if I may add, turning waste to wealth and health. On this note, can I just introduce all our dynamic leaders who happen to be outstanding leaders, let me put it that way, who are dynamic and unique in offering the solutions, the products they have come up with. We'll hear rapid-fire presentations from our 4 outstanding speakers. Number 1 happens to be Mr. Miller Alexander Rajendran, who is a co-founder and CEO of Sensagro Solutions in Sri Lanka. Miller is a champion of sustainable agri and youth entrepreneurship, recognized globally for his work in digital tools that empower smallholder growers. Community-driven innovation is what has driven his work greatly. Miller, you're in the room. Maybe you can wave your hand. The next leader and speaker happens to be Mr. Deepak Rajmohan, founder and CEO of GreenPod Labs in India. Deepak is an agri-biotech entrepreneur developing solutions to extend the shelf life of fruits and vegetables, helping reduce post-harvest losses and improve food security across India. Deepak, maybe great. Next, our third outstanding leader and speaker happens to be Ms. Nidhi Pant, co-founder of S4S Technologies in India. Nidhi's pioneering work at the intersection of agri, gender, and clean energy has empowered smallholders, women smallholders, to become climate resilient micro-entrepreneurs driving sustainable food systems and financial inclusion. Nidhi. Last but not the least, Mr. Loc Phan, chairman of Vietnam Food in Vietnam. Of course, Loc is a leader in sustainable zero-waste biotechnological production, transforming shrimp co-products into innovative applications for food, agri, and industry, and bringing decades of international leadership experience. Mr. Loc. So without any further without any further time loss, can we begin with our rapid fire presentations? Miller, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Great pleasure to meet you all. It's been an honor to be here. So as introduced, kind words, I'm Miller Rajendran, CEO, founder of Sense Agro Solutions. So we are a Sri Lankan-based precision agriculture technology company by nature. So we're working with data. Based out of Sri Lanka, we build technologies for 500 million smallholder farmers around the world. So that's what our motive is all about, bringing affordable, hyper-localized precision agriculture technology for every single farmhouse. That's what our ultimate focus is all about. So context of sapling today, so waste to wealth. So working with 29,000 farmers in Sri Lanka and 10 different smallholder countries around the world, one of the major area we figure out, farmers have some serious issues on post-harvest, as the numbers are staggering, like 40% loss happen after the first gate, where it's not meeting the plate. So that was a huge gap where smallholders need to fix out. So as a data-driven tech company, we working with data. We're looking at where this problem happens. We identify there are many issues, but we have identified 3 major issues where we can sort out through technology and data-driven applications. One, smallholder farmers are very comfortable on the first gate. They don't meet the consumers most of the time. So this allows them, middlemen plays a major role. So reducing the distance is something important. Second major problem where we focus on, we work with 29,000 perishable farmers. Perishable means only 3 days of shelf life. You need to find a buyer after your harvest. You need to bargain with them. You need to sell it out. Buyers are smart. They come on the second day and buy it on half of the price point. This happens throughout the world. So we try to find a way how we can reduce cold supply chain requirement in the perishable ecosystem. So because we are coming from a country where we have less than 1% of cold chain applications are available for access for farmers. In that sense, without cold supply chain, which is a very expensive process, so we work with data, we're looking for solutions around the world. We come up with one interesting solution from South India at the moment, which is called Private Agricultural Mandi concept, followed by many FPOs in the South Indian part of it. So they decide which farmer grow what for this particular season. So they have pre-advanced information about what's going to be grown on this particular harvest. In 3 months later, what would be their harvest rate. So the yield forecast plays a major role identifying the buyers in between. So you are not looking for buyers in 3 days. You have enough time, like 3.5 months time in between to identify the buyer and bargain. So we basically digitalize that concept into digital form. We collect data from farmers, what you grow, when you plant it, when you're getting the harvest, how much harvest you are getting out. We're getting it from 29,000 farmers throughout Sri Lanka, especially in the northern part of Sri Lanka, where 14,500 concentrated number of farmers. So these data allow us to work Bottom up, where we're working with buyers to identify, meet the supply and demand with yield forecast in 3.5 months before harvest. So we have enough time to find buyers and bargain. Much as possible, we try to work with improving shelf life and working with SMEs and value addition companies. So they're available in a very short range. We don't looking for large companies. We are not looking for Unilevers or Nestle's. They are reaching in a long distance. We are looking for companies within 20-kilometer radius where easily that supply chain can be connected, where the cold supply chain requirement will be reduced. We have experimented it. We are an 8-year-old company in terms of precision tech, but this is in 9 months. Every month, in average, it's a smaller number to Indian context, but it's a considerable number for Sri Lankan context. Roughly around $40,000 worth of transaction happens on perishable in 10 different crop varieties. So this is an amazing success story. We believe it can be extended and replicated in many places. Talking about a small number, we have invested roughly around $13 per head throughout the process in last 3 years on this implementation. Now we are leveraging more than 7 times on every single transaction for these farmers. So $13 of investment, leveraging 7 times on the first transaction itself for the farmers. So we see it's an amazing option where technology easily enabling into the ground. So that $13 per head can be less than $5 if that infrastructure is already there. So the expense was huge in the initial days. Second thing, adaptation of farmers. Data entry is the hardest part. Any startup in the world can claim that they have millions of farmers, they're using their platform, but how many farmers who interacting with their platform, how many apps being used by farmers, that's always a question mark. I'm confident that not less than 5% who getting responses back. That everyone need to admit that. So that's where the expenses on implementing our own field officers, identifying farmers who incentivizing them, that's a barrier. So awareness and adaptation for app, in Agan Bharat agriculture practices, they see how this piece of plastic going to work on my farm. This is an alien technology. This is not relevant for me because they are backed by 2,000 years old agriculture practice. So those are barriers to overcome that. Implementing everything in our own, creating that infrastructure is very expensive. As a startup, that's something a barrier would see.
Great. Thanks, Miller, for your inspiring work and really passionate about it. Next, we have Deepak from GreenPod Labs.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Appreciate. So I'm Deepak, founder, CEO of GreenPod Labs. GreenPod Labs is an agri-biotech company. We develop products to extend the shelf life of fruits and vegetables. Looking at the context where we are right now, I wanted to just give a short understanding of like why we started GreenPod Labs. So I come from a research background. I've been on the research for the last 8 years. And I was looking at the food waste, food loss problem for an extended period. And one statistics which really changed my mind was about 40% of fruits and vegetables and other food products are lost before reaches a consumer in developing markets like India and other African markets. But about 35% of food is lost after reaches a consumer in developed markets like US and Europe. This statistics really changed my mindset that like in a developing market, it's a lack of infrastructure which is causing the food losses, food wastage. And if you're not solving the infrastructure for decades, we'll be in the same state. Just going slightly more deeper, India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables, but still about 40% is lost, and this has been happening for the last 2 decades. So this was a motivation to come back to India and start this company. So what we do, we provide biotech-based active packagings to extend the shelf life without any cooling systems requirement. So one of the products what we have are these active packaging sheets, which uses plant-based volatiles. So these plant-based volatiles activate the immune system within the fruit and vegetable to extend their shelf life. The major challenge on Indian and other developing markets is the losses in the supply chain. Not having availability of cold storage, cold supply chain, and not having a proper infrastructure is a major challenge. So we wanted to bypass that and provide technologies, products, which works at ambient temperatures as well. So that's where we built this product, which works at a wide range of temperatures from 8 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. And we can cut down the spoilage by a factor of 40 to 60%, extend the shelf life by a factor of 40 to 60%. And we look at commodities which are transported on long distance, either within India or to international market, and provide products to extend the shelf life. We've been in business for the last 4.5, 5 years, and it's a deep science, deep tech company, and we've been adding value for very selected commodities like banana and citrus, and we provide products to extend the shelf life to exporters and traders. In last couple of years, we've made a significant progress on extending the shelf life and making the impact on the real life. Every month, we preserve close to about like 20 to 25,000 tons of fresh produce through our products. So it's a significant value what we provide. And so I think one more understanding what we've built in recent time is it's not just one technology which is going to solve this problem. It's a collective multiple technologies which is going to solve the shelf life and food losses problem. Even within banana, we have close to about 6 to 7 different products which solves different problems within the value chain. And by providing this collective solutions, we are adding a significant value for the exporters and traders. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Deepak. Maybe one question for you. So initially, you explained the genesis of your work and, the innovative product you've come up with. The kind of, technical support, assistance you got or you would have further wanted, if you could just...
Yeah. No, it's definitely challenging. So I think I keep saying this, we are in a niche of niche in the Indian startup ecosystem. So one, we are solving a very small problem from a agri ecosystem perspective, and we are trying to solve in an area where it's biotech driven and deep R&D. So for first 3-4 years, it was very challenging for us. I think we didn't get the right support system to build our products and test our products. So we had to get our own equipments and our own lab set up. Now we have an extensive lab where we operate. So we are able to break down the crop into 5 layers of data, go to even gene expression level to build those understanding. I think one area what we are trying to make that change is we are opening our labs to other new startups who are coming up in this space, be it on the food wastage or ag, biotech space, to use our facility and use our lab equipments. It's a challenging space. I think collectively we need to build a lot more support system, and things are moving on the right direction, but I think a lot more efforts are needed.
Thanks, Deepak. Moving on to our next speaker, happens to be Nidhi Pant, whose firm S4S Technologies is using renewable energy-powered food preservation and processing technologies to cut waste, extend shelf life, and open new markets. Nidhi, the stage is all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Sapling, for the wonderful opportunity to present the work of S4S and its farmer to this audience. I grew up in a small farm up in the north in Himalayas in Uttarakhand, and it is a orange farm. We call it Malta, and I always remember it as the citrus fruit that I really enjoyed when I was young. But every time we would harvest and send our produce back to the market in Delhi, my parents were always dealing with a lot of anxiety that, okay, what is the pricing that we are going to get? Is the trader going to give us the money? And I always felt that they were very stressed. And after 10 days, what we would see is that my parents said that, okay, we have not even recovered our money. And before even climate change was an issue, we migrated. It was an uneconomical farming for us, and we migrated from up in the Himalayas to Bombay. I was fortunate to study chemical engineering, and during my engineering days, again, went to farms in Maharashtra and saw the same problem, that in the morning when the farmers would come and take their produce to the market in the mandi, and by the evening, if those green leafy vegetables are not sold, they would just dump it or would sell it for ₹1. They would say that our cost of transportation and harvesting this produce is greater than the value of the produce, and we are not recovering anything. I also realized that when food gets wasted, it's also not an environmental problem in terms of that it's releasing greenhouse gases such as methane and carbon dioxide, but it is also such a big loss of natural resources such as land, water, capital, resources that have gone into making it. Also, while growing up, I saw women working on the farm, but for the longest time, the photo of a farmer in Bombay for me was of a male figure. But as I started spending more time in Maharashtra again during my engineering days, I saw that women were the ones who were running the household and also managing the farms. And when I started looking at what could be the possible ways of solutions that we could offer, what I realized the biggest thing was that for any economical activity to thrive in the village, you need any source of power, you need electricity. And for any big processing center to run, there is not enough three-phase electricity, there's only single-phase electricity. So 3 insights that I got during my engineering days was that any preservation or processing activity to thrive at a village level, it needs to be renewable energy powered. Second is that women farmers are the ones who are also taking care of the farms and running the household. And third is that we really need to prevent this food from getting wasted. Fortunately, during our engineering days, I met my other co-founders and we developed a small technology inspired by sun drying, saying that, okay, farmers have already been doing sun drying. Can we actually do this in a more efficient manner? Can it not take 6 days to dry? Can it also be done in 6 to 8 hours? Can it preserve nutrition? Can it also be something that is acceptable in the market? So we developed a very modular solar dryer that uses solar thermal as its basic way of heating up the produce and removal of water and increasing the shelf life of the produce. And we started selling it to almost 5,000 farmers in 15 countries. And in the period of 3 years, what we realized that a lot of smallholder farmers were calling us and telling us that we don't know what to do with this produce. A lot of largeholder farmers were able to find market for their produce, but smallholder farmers had a lot of expectation that we will be helping them to find a market. And that was the second turning point in our journey, what we realized that we proposed this as a solution for reduction of food waste and providing food security to the farmers. We always told that whatever you are dehydrating, you can use it for your own consumption, you can make different products out of it, but smallholder farmers required a market for it. They wanted to earn an additional income through it, and their expectation was that, can I actually get more value for my produce? And that was the second part in our journey where we realized that technology is not enough to solve the problem. We need to have a market-driven approach. Then because we were also engineers, we said, okay, maybe we can also find people in our network who can guide us in this journey. And help us take it to the market. But we were faced with another challenge, which was that every farmer was making different things. When we were going to the buyers, we went to General Mills. General Mills said that, okay, we can't work with small farmers, but can you aggregate them and you take the responsibility of the produce? We said, okay, maybe we become a aggregator. But the challenge was that someone was drying coriander, someone was drying apple, and the volume was not enough. And it was also not predictable, which means that if they were doing ginger this year, you don't know whether they are going to do tomato or ginger next year, because they can do tomato if the prices are low. Because farmers dehydrate the produce only when there's enough surplus, and this surplus is the time when the prices are low and processing becomes more viable for them. So we could not guarantee quality, because decentralization also has that as a challenge, that every farmer was making different quality of the produce. There was not enough volume. And that's when we also decided that we will focus on a few commodities. So we focus on tomato, onion, potato, and fruits and vegetables. Third thing, which has it has been an important part for us scaling up, is that we decided that we want to work with women farmers. These women farmers are all new to credit. They do not have any collateral. Most of their land holding is either in the name of their husbands or their brother. So let alone the collateral, they don't even have a bank account for them or any credit history so the bank could lend to them. We started with microfinance at 31%. And when we started working with these farmers, they said that, okay, half of the money is being taken by the financing, and whatever we are earning is not meaningful enough for us to be part of your processing centers. So that was like a bigger challenge. Then from 31%, the next year we came down to 15%. And we were very lucky that year that Government of India launched Agri Infrastructure Fund, where they fund these microprocessing units at it's mandated for the banks to fund these microprocessing units for 9% rate of interest, and the Government of India under AIF schemes adds 3% interest subvention. So we were very fortunate that after 3 years, the 200 farmers that we were working with, they had a very acceptable quality of produce of tomato, onion, ginger, and we could take it to the market. So a lot of time, your noodle packets that you have, those dehydrated produce is made by our women farmers. So how we work is that we are a food ingredients company that empowers farmers to become processors. We aggregate whatever farmers make and provide them with technology, access to finance, and market linkage. So we sell their produce to large companies such as Marico, Capital Foods, Tata Group, Nestle, etc. And in this, the impact is, sorry, I'm just going to take 2 more minutes, is 3 ways. First is that we prevent almost 100,000 tons of food from getting wasted. We empower women farmers and double down their household income. They earn anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 annually. This is an additional income for them. And thirdly is that they get a dignity of work. They have found a new identity in their families. We do around $45 million in revenue and work with 300,000 farmers across Maharashtra, Odisha, and starting Madhya Pradesh. Happy to speak to anyone after and answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Nidhi. I think your work is a great example of a point where there is an intersection between food security, energy security, and of course gender. So thank you so much. Our final speaker for this session is Mr. Loc Phan, Chairman of Vietnam Food. He is a pioneer in sustainable zero-waste biotechnological production and doing a lot in shrimp production, the waste from shrimp production. With this, I pass it on to Mr. Loc Phan. Thank you. And while you set it up, just want to let all of you know the products, the innovative products of all our speakers are put up towards the end at the back side of the room on tables, so you may want to check them out after the session. Over to you, Mr. Loc Phan.
I have about eight of the boxes. In fact, I need 8 chairs. So my name is Loc Phan. I'm the chairman of Vietnam Food. And Vietnam Foods now is the #1 company in Vietnam for valorizing the shrimp byproduct into, we can call it, endless application. From the previous section, Paul already mentioned about the need waste. And in the meantime, we have millions of families struggle to put food on the table. In the meantime, Vietnam is in the top 5 countries of agriculture producer. But every year, we have 160 to 170 million tons of agriculture waste. Imagine this number. It's the mountain. So it's not easy. So you have hunger on one side, and you have waste on the other side. You have the need to make wealth. You have the demand to make wealth. But you have the supply of waste, which cannot solve the problem. So because of that paradox, how Vietnam Food start our journey? So the first thing we try to think, mindset change. We don't see waste as waste. We don't call it waste. We don't call it byproduct. We call it co-products. And we talk to all the processor. Please don't throw the waste, the byproduct on the floor. Once you throw it on the floor, how can you turn it into food? They agree with us. We set up the system. We carry the product to our system. Second, the vision. This is a little bit my personal dream. When I started this, I called the company Vietnam Food because I dream one day I can turn the waste, the used to be waste, into the food for the people. I call the company Vietnam Food. However, now we do more than that. If you look at one of our standee on the right here, you can see that we have now many food applications. Ruth, can you help me? Yeah, I have a very highly paid rush. I don't know. So, in fact, Monica allowed me only one standee, but I broke the rule. So I took 3. We have 10 at home. We start with this, with the dream to turn waste into food. Now we do more than that. We can turn the waste into agriculture, into human consumption, into pet. Somebody already mentioned, not from waste to wealth, but from waste to wealth and health. We also have health product as well. Everything from a small product, small stream head. And number 3, how we do that? We start strategize. So we decided to use biotechnology, and we decided to choose a very hard way to go. Zero production mindset. I call mindset. It means that every time we do something, we try to take the waste from the operation back. So we focus on 3 areas. Maximize the value, minimize the pollution, and extend the impact. So how we can maximize the value? When you talk about a stream head, you close your eyes. How many products you think from a small stream head can make? Probably you think maybe 1 or 2. Stream head powder, stream head oil. What if I tell you we extract many products from the stream head into 100 bioactive ingredients? And from there, you can go with endless application. That's how we believe. That is from Archimedes. Give us a stream head, we can create endless application. That's why we believe. Pollution. How do you reduce pollution when you deal with waste? So we developed a very unique technique. Let's take an example. When we started the journey, chitin is the main product. And our Vietnamese were taught to produce chitin from stream head. And guess what? For every ton of chitin, we use 300 tons of water, 30 tons of stream head, 5 tons of acid, and half ton of caustic soda. Anybody in this room who knows production will know that you have 335.5 tons incoming, and you get 1 out. Where is the 334.5 goes? Waste. Wastewater. No way you can deal with that. Now we reduce the water by 80%. And we extract, from the beginning, we extract only 10% of the value from the stream head. Now we do 95. The funny thing is, the more you get out from the stream head, the less wastewater you have to deal with. Because everything, you have moisture and dry matters. Like our body, 85% water, 15% dry matter. We try to take as much as possible the dry matters from the stream. If we can take all, guess what? You have clean water. You don't have to deal with the 334.5 tons of heavily polluted wastewater. And number 3, we extend our impact. We start with collecting the shell, the heads, from the shrimp processor. In India, you have many upstream processors. We prove we're successful. Now we move to the shrimp farms. You know, the shrimp, they are very funny. Every couple of days, in order to grow, they put the new shell, discard the old shell. Now in the world, nobody can solve the problem with the shrimp molting shell. It stays there forever. Because million years of evolution, the shell become very strong to protect the shrimp. It's not dissolved in acid, in anything. We have the technology. We collect the shrimp shell from the farm. So this is the stone to kill medebugs. Because first, we prove that we can extend the circular economy. We can provide inclusive business. Because many poor people can collect the shell, get $1 or $2. And the last one, green economy. So, how it's become the... Okay.
Sorry, but we have a time constraint because the next panel has to start.
Okay, yeah. So as a result, we have the full system. Every year, we process about almost 100,000 tons of product. We not only produce product, but we provide a platforms for people, for scientists, for many companies to grow together. It's not only a company to produce a product. We are recognized by the shrimp industry as the most innovative company in 2023. So as a conclusion, you can think about this. The food waste and loss is huge, very rich in value, but very urgent in the necessity. How can we do that? So the question is, what can we do? We have the urgency to do that. Do we have a solution? Yes, we do. Do we have the reward? Yes, we do. Do we want to waste more seafood waste? Or together, we can do something. And together, we can turn the waste into the wealth, into our shared future. Or we wait for more seafood waste to be wasted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fan, for your great work and the vision you hold. Just wanted to let all of you know, maybe at the beginning I didn't, spell it out. I work with International Finance Corporation, which is the private sector investing arm of World Bank Group. So we invest directly into companies, of course, for their growth, scale, and impact. So would be very happy to speak to companies like yours and others. Okay, on this note, maybe we still do have time, is what I've been told. We can take 2 questions from the audience, and maybe one from the right side and one from the left side, just to be fair. So any questions for any of our speakers from the audience? Do we have the mic? Yeah.
Myself, Janvi Khaprana, I'm a youth of this nation, and as a youth of this nation, I just have few questions. Like, as we are, one question, and it is related to actually to the environment, and as we see, like, we have so many problems in our country, and basically the people are not aware of it. We are talking, I am just seeing that we are talking, we are taking initiatives, we are actually finding out the solutions, but at the ground level we are not actually doing it. People are not aware about it, and we have the highest population. So I just have a question, that whatever the initiatives, whatever the companies are doing, but are we actually doing it for the profit, or are we actually doing it on the proper level? Because youth or the people of this nation actually want to work, want to bring a change, but are we actually doing it? So,
Thank you so much. Much appreciate. No, please. It's a good question. It's a very relevant question. Any other question? Yeah, please.
I mean, just to set the tone, because we are talking about food waste, and I think we have a bunch of companies coming in which reflects on the technologies. In the post-harvest management, there are a few aspects. One is the technology intervention itself, and there are elements, as the lady has suggested, about a comprehensive model which talks about women empowerment, market linkages, backward linkages, whatnot. I've heard about the technology interventions per se, but how, as a solution, as a comprehensive model, have we tapped into it? Because I'm new to India, and this is my new experience per se. Because what I've gauged from majority of the communications, that cold storage still is restricted to only potatoes per se, and I think 70% resides there. So this is where I wish to understand from the private players and what their interventions are. Thank you.
Nidhi, do you want to take that, or any one of us speak?
I'll first take Janvi's question, which is that, yes, as a company, sustainability is important of environment and also as an organization. So as much as we don't do two different things for profit and purpose. So the more we process, we are going to prevent wastage, and we're also going to get profitable. And maybe we've not reached the right audience because we are also B2B, business to business. So I'm sure there are many other solutions and interventions in the country. Yes, it's only people like you who can change that, and great that you are ready to take the leadership. So I'm sure there are so many other solutions like us who you can connect, and definitely will give you people a platform that will spread more awareness. Coming to your question, I think I have two things to add. I think the business model is a function of the technology that you choose. Dehydration converts it into a different, is a preservation and a processing technology. So it changes form. So the business model needs to be integrated, which means that there needs to be a market linkage involved. Whereas cold chain in itself, cold storage solution itself can work independently. A lot of times it is also there for fruits and vegetables. It totally depends on the economic factors like price volatility, where it is more viable, which means that like in a higher valued crops like lychee, etc., it is more viable. So integrated approach definitely is an important, but is also a function of what technology. Like if you start juices, you will have to do it in a central processing way. So I would definitely, you can take any path. The business model of whether you want to only sell technology, say a cold chain solution or a cold storage solution can cater to a lot of crops, lot of different, their market size becomes very different. Because there is a business element also attached, the value chain approach or like the integrated model approach works more better for a technology that we have taken. So I do think that it's a choice that one needs to make at a technology level. Thank you.
Great, thanks Nidhi. So with this, it's a wrap for this session. May I just invite all four speakers on stage. We have small mementos to be given to all four of them. And a big round of applause to all our four.